welcome back. It's time for us to get into some community-focused stories. And we're going to be doing some very important conversations this morning, as we always do this segment, talking about galamsey today, and the hashtag is Breakfast Daily. If you're watching us on our streams, the WhatsApp line is 0550-585832. We have a report for you. The Clergy have called for a ban, a temporary ban, entire ban on all forms of small-scale mining. This report is being brought to you by Ni Ayukwe Okai, our colleague here at Citi. Let's take a look at this. We'll come back and get into some conversations.
Illegal mining, popularly known as galamsey, continues to be a challenge for the government and the public. Despite series of interventions rolled out, the canker continues to eat deep into the cloak of mining communities in the country. Many have called on the government to step up its efforts at nibbling the menace in the bud. Addressing the media on Monday, a group of religious bodies who bemoaned the effects of galamsey on the nation called for a temporary ban on small-scale mining as part of measures to deal with the menace.
We have taken notice that many groups or companies hide behind a legal license to wreak havoc to the environment. To that end, we call for an immediate ban on all forms of small-scale mining, whether licensed or not, until a workable and satisfactory roadmap has been established to ensure responsible mining in our country. We call on government to swiftly arrest and prosecute all those involved in galamsey activities in Ghana without fear or favor, to serve as a deterrent to others. Those who desire to be rich at the expense of our future, the future of our country, should face the full rigors of the law. With immediate effect, we call on religious leaders to wear red armbands to show our deep concern for the destruction of our environment through galamsey. We call for the arrest and immediate prosecution of any chief who permits galamsey activities within their jurisdiction for any reason.
The religious leaders also threatened to go to court to ensure the dismissal of MMDCs whose jurisdictions have been affected if water bodies are not restored to their normal state by June 30, 2023.
We give an ultimatum to MMDCs in the country to ensure that water bodies that have been polluted because of illegal mining activities within their sphere of governance are cleaned by June 30th, 2023. The religious leaders in the country are ready to mobilize legal teams to go to court on this matter and have MMDCs who have allowed such menace in their jurisdictions to be removed from office. We have realized that galamsey is preventing the youth from going to school. We call on all well-meaning Ghanaians to immediately report any child of school-going age who is involved in galamsey activities in their communities to the appropriate authorities and also to their respective religious leaders.
The group also clarified that its visit to some galamsey sites on Friday was to familiarize themselves with the extent of damage caused to river bodies and lands, and not necessarily to offer prayers for an end to the illegal act.
And among BA between the empire bonus shall see and the empire boy we. Enti Yakoba no. Asema koba nso asofu no koso amu kobo mpae amagalam se atwa. Ebinuma de ho fɛw. Na nso so achia na mui. Mo amanti ase Yakoba asa no. Ye de cha mo so mo mfa nche esense. De Azrael mu nyina na bebom adi enkunim.
These religious leaders are advocating for a temporary ban on the activities of small-scale mining, irrespective of whether they have been licensed or not, for the time being, to ensure that the water bodies are restored to their normal state by June 2023.
All right, so there you have it. Everybody is. I'm glad to see this, that slowly the entire society is being whipped into action. We see the chiefs are talking, we see the clergy is talking, and so on and so forth. But we've been joined this morning by the host of Footprints. It's been a minute, actually, but it's good to see him here this morning, Samuel Atamesa. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Yourself?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. Am I on TV?
Yes, please, you're on TV. But where
I went to watch again.
Where
It was
have
on
you
TV.
been? Where have you been?
I went to watch Arsenal.
Oh, okay.
In Abroche.
Wait, so
Yes,
it's because
it's a beautiful team.
It's because you people are now number one. So
Number one, where? The number ones now
they are different number
so
ones.
which number one?
Hey,
Yeah.
Assembly.
No,
It's
because
okay.
as far as Ballon d'Or is concerned, Man City is the best team in the
No,
world.
it's okay. You have removed my mouth.
Man City is the best
Yeah. Because, no, I'm removing my mouth from this argument. Because
It's allowed. It's
Manchester
allowed.
City is the best team.
Yeah.
in the world.
Only that when they win the league, they mess it up. Because they don't have followers to jubilate.
It's okay. It's okay. Let's leave it at they are the best team in the world. It's okay. Jubilation is not really part of the whole thing. I didn't see award. I didn't see award for best supporters, so it's okay.
No, but you see,
But it is an entertainment experience.
It's true.
So if you can win and you still can't experience it, then what's the point?
No, when they win me, I'm happy, so it's enough.
Actually,
You are happy, but for a
Samuel, you have
brief
said
moment.
something bad. It's
No,
like-
this one.
No, but it's true.
This
but-
one is which one is true?
No, what you
I say
just
I'm happy.
said-
You say it's for a moment. What do you mean by it's true?
No.
Can you measure my level of
Listen,
happiness?
you can be happier to whatever. The point
Uh-huh.
is that you can't paint the town blue the way you should
the
paint
blue
the
is
Which
town
town?
blue.
faded.
Which town are we talking about?
Faded blue.
No, even the town they occupy half.
Don't worry. Feel free. As far as you are concerned, we are the best club. It ends there. Anyway, now let's come back home because there are pressing issues,
There are pressing
galamsey
issues.
and its associated problems. Now the clergy has gone there and they say that this is to help them understand, to also get first-hand information, on what exactly is going on. And I think that after their visit, they now have a better appreciation of the trouble, the menace that we are dealing with, and that is why they are calling for a complete ban, on small-scale mining, whether you have license or not.
License.
Let's just halt it
Yeah.
for now. So, what will be your initial, comments on what is happening?
Well, I think again, we are at the point where the issues have started triggering our conscience because the clergy, by and large, represent the conscience of the nation. And once it's gotten to this point, the next step is a feature of helplessness. And for the clergy to come together and make this effort, it also suggests that people have had to hold themselves together because we are just at the tipping point. We have nothing to do. They have looked forward to a solution and the solution has not been forthcoming. What we kept hearing would be exemptions, explaining why this company has to be given the permission. And at times you wonder, what's the business of a government appointee explaining why company A or company B should be given
Exempted,
permission?
yeah.
We are being hit hard by this menace. I thought that the policymakers' responsibility is to just direct on how it will be resolved. So this has pushed the clergy to this point. Now they've also made some I don't know whether I should call them demands or proposals, calling for a temporary ban on all forms of galamsey activities. I mean, they said small-scale mining, but I disagree with that reference as small-scale. Not all galamsey activities are small-scale. Some are huge. Some are huge.
Very large scale.
And destroying whole communities. So basically, in order for us to be able to effectively stem the tide, they are saying that let's put a hold on all activities. And I think this is something that we've been calling for. Occupy Ghana has called for it.
Yeah.
In fact, they have gone to the extent of asking the government to declare a state of emergency in some of these identified areas, so that they can effectively bring the change needed so quickly. We haven't had a response to that. The government, through Jinapo, has also come out to suggest ways, but I'm not so sure whether so far people are getting the assurance that something will happen. And so that's logically why you find the clergy doing the things they are doing. And the only request they made, which I'm not sure how they are going to effect this, is that reverend ministers or clergymen should wear red armbands. I don't know on which occasion they should wear, when they are going to church or when they are preaching on TV. When they do that?
There should have been some more clarity, maybe.
Clearly, they are not going to have a protest march.
No.
But the point to be made is that we need to find a way of halting the activities and then executing whichever plan. Without halting or bringing it to a temporary close, nothing can happen.
But when the situation is also said that, so yesterday, for instance, we spoke to the chief of Ninahin in Ashanti region. Now, his issue was the fact that young people in some of these areas resort to galamsey for their source of livelihood. So we tried, asking further questions. So does that mean that we should go ahead? But really, when you also sit down, if there are no alternatives, you ask people to stop, we stop. For how long will people be prepared to sit down with no jobs, with nothing, like no alternatives? What happens then?
Well, I mean, you see, the whole argument of galamsey brings job to the people. I also ask the question, since when has the chief known that galamsey brings job to the people? Would the chief advise his children while they are in school to prepare to go into galamsey? Is it the logical career destination that you advise young people to go to? Or people do it out of desperation? Keep this one. Let's go to cocaine. Why do people sell cocaine? Is it because they want to look good or they want to make money? If you go to South America, it's a whole industry in some places. And is the justification the fact that people don't have jobs, so we should allow it to go on? If the act is destroying our society, we need to stop it.
Regardless.
I mean, anything, armed robbery, anything that people do, they do it because of money. And if in so doing, it destroys the very existence which we depend on, then what's the point? Somebody's duty is to create an economy which will be activated to bring economic, employment, to bring employment. That has not worked as we expected. So it's failed. Now somebody is saying that because it's failed, let's destroy ourselves and destroy the water we drink, then we'll be happy.
It doesn't make
I don't
any
see
sense.
the logic.
Yeah.
So the question of it gives people jobs, it gives people illegitimate jobs. Jobs that in the longer run will be very expensive for us even to conduct ourselves as human beings.
Yeah.
Because now Ghana Water is complaining that it costs them 10 times the amount of resources it used to cost them 10 years ago.
Wow.
Just to make the water wholesome for us to drink. Who can sustain this? And the point is that every major water body in Ghana is under threat, except the Volta. Except the Volta. It's only a matter of time. So we have to stop it. How people will eat, we need to devise new ways of getting people engaged and employed. But to say that we have to depend on galamsey because it gives people jobs, there are many other things that bring people money.
Yeah.
But we all know that all things are profitable, but not all things are expedient.
Yeah.
So this is where we are. We can't allow it to happen. And for us to have a good structure for people to conduct their businesses, first and foremost, we have to stop it. Put a temporary ban, make sure that we tick all the boxes before we open it up for people who are qualified to go into mining. I mean, mining is not just an art form, it's a science as well.
Yeah.
There are ways to do it and ways not to do it. That's why we are where we are.
I also wonder about the mindset, that we go out we see the military, we see the task force, go out onto the fields, see the people who are there, and we arrest people and parade the people who have been arrested. But you can see, even by looking at the people who have been arrested, that these are not the financiers of the whole operation that's going on. Up to now, I don't think I've ever read in any of the press papers that we have that anyone has been arrested for being a financier of.
I don't even understand what a financier is.
No, because you see, what I'm asking is that there are people who purchase, for example, the excavators.
So, for instance, with the company, the
Somebody has
MDs
bought-
have there, the
Yeah,
CEOs
you are
have
the owner
there.
of the company.
Yes,
You are the owner, so you are perpetrating the
Yes.
So that's what
Yes.
it's trying to say,
That's
that
what I'm saying. You're the one who's financing
we
the
arrest the
operation.
laborers
That's going.
and then pat
We leave.
ourselves in the back that we've done
We've
so well,
done
we've
well.
arrested them, we went to the site, and then that is it.
Well, you see, that's true because I don't know that for a fact whether somebody has been arrested who is an owner, business owner, or, But the point is, if we make the act of mining illegally very expensive, it's going to affect their businesses anyway.
Okay, so the bottom line gets affected, and then
If I mean, if we make it very expensive, the person who is running the business is going to lose money.
yeah, okay,
You understand?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying by that if you know somebody, but the thing is that if I buy an excavator, what shows that I'm going to use it for galamsey? There are many other construction-related things that excavators do. So owning excavators by themselves is not. It is being seen in the act that we are talking about.
yeah,
There are companies that are doing proper mining. They have not messed up our water bodies. There are individuals who have taken on our water bodies and sworn that at the risk of destroying the whole country, they will go and find money.
Yeah.
I mean, who does that?
yeah.
Not until we paint the real picture of what galamsey can do to us as human beings, our agriculture, our aqua community, water security, and all these things. If we don't paint the proper picture, people will use English language to just confuse us.
Yeah.
And the people, they need jobs, and they need jobs. Keep saying they need jobs until the day you go and drink water which is poisonous.
Yeah.
Because you have cyanide.
Yeah.
There's no way they will do
Mercury,
this
cyanide,
without
all those
cyanide.
things,
There's
yeah.
no way they will do it without cyanide.
Yeah.
And Kweku, you are a science person.
Yeah.
What does it mean to drink water
With
which
cyanide.
is laced with cyanide?
Oh, it's it's a slow death. It's happening. It's going to kill
In
you.
an uncontrolled environment. Uncontrolled.
Yeah.
Because they normally do it in the night.
Yeah.
They hide out. And look, a friend was telling me over the weekend that the number of activities that go on there, you'll be shocked. Because they know that there's a problem with being seen to be doing galamsey, they dig for the gold, try and wash it there, try and make it a bit wholesome before they transport.
Wow.
You see, which means that they have all the chemicals that they can master into
Right
the
there.
river bodies. So no wonder we don't have fishes in the river bodies any longer. We don't have fishes there because they are all dead or mad. So no wonder we have mad fish.
But really, when you look at how, this whole fight has gone from government, does it really look like government really wants to stop this? From the Citi FM campaign to getting Operation Halt to Galam Stop, because right now it looks like military coming there and all that. We are still running around in circle. Is there that commitment? Can the people really see that government is committed to stop galamsey?
Well, the people don't see that. I mean, that's an easy question. As for the people, they don't see. And they don't see, they have made that point in several ways, including what the pastors are saying. They don't see because we all know that without an effective system of law and order, you can organize seminars, you can do whatever. Nothing would change. At times I sit and I watch and I get the feeling that the government wants to advise people out of galamsey. I mean, how do you advise somebody out of galamsey? Advice? Are you a counselor?
No, but that's not what the chief was saying yesterday. Oh, I've been talking to my people. And
it is not true.
I told them,
but even if the chief does, he's a chief. He's not the law enforcement agent. The chiefs don't arrest people. You understand? And if we do this hot and cold approach, what we end up doing is we are exposing people to very dangerous, for them to be very dangerous targets. Because some of these galamsey people now wield weapons. They have weapons to protect themselves. So assuming you're a chief and you go and blow somebody's cover and police doesn't act, you see what you've done to yourself. They'll come after you. And it's happening in some of the communities. So people see galamsey. We are trying to, we're doing some work on this galamsey. The communities that we've spoken to, two of them, the guys told us that they are afraid to take us to the galamsey places.
Wow.
They said they are afraid.
Because they can't afford to be seen.
They can't afford to be seen. And they cannot assure themselves that the police will protect them. Police is suspicious of politician. Politician is suspicious of police. The citizens are suspicious of politicians and police. So how do we win this war? Meanwhile, the law is sitting there smiling. When people do it, we go around the law like this. We keep going around, and the law is there. And we are still advising. We are still calling on people. We are still organizing seminars. I mean, how do we win a war like this?
Speaking English. So maybe that is why yesterday you wanted to read something.
I've just said I've looked in amazement as we do this to ourselves all the time. When there are clear laws, we hardly ever enforce any of them unless we are angry, or the person, we don't like the person. Then we see that we are enforcing. But as long as the person is like,
selective
the person hasn't done
application
anything,
of the law.
It's like, now I'll find another way around it. Meanwhile, the law is there.
And like Samantha mentioned, then you have government appointees defending, people like that. And now the pastors go there, they go and pray. We have a problem with that.
Well,
Sometimes, do you have a problem with the pastors going there to pray?
They didn't go there to pray.
No, when they said a prayer when they were there. That wasn't the motive.
No, even if that were the motive, so what? I mean, they are pastors.
That's
what
pastors do.
Exactly. So I quite honestly, I didn't really understand people's issues because I felt like, okay, so this is not Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources organizing a prayer meeting. This is not engineers organizing a prayer meeting. What do you expect the pastors to do? Because if the pastors had not prayed, I would have had a problem.
People had a problem.
Oh, no, there was a lot of social media.
Why did the pastors go there to pray? And I'm like, but what should the pastors do?
But it's coming from people who don't pray themselves.
Anyway,
no,
so
right.
What they are just saying is that they don't even believe in their prayers.
You're right.
And that's their portion. But there are some people who don't just believe in prayers. They believe in prayers and they also depend on prayers. So if they are faced with this kind of situation and they think that as a body, let's call for corporate prayer and look up to God, and you sit somewhere and ridicule. I even heard a man apologizing that, say, I'm and I'm like, what have you done wrong?
I didn't even understand why he was explaining so much. You were a pastor, you get somewhere. When you were leaving, you prayed. When you got there, you are praying. Now, if that is what...
They have to even pray more.
Yes.
They have to pray more.
At this point, it is prayer.
I agree. Yes.
Because if the military couldn't stop it, police can't
I
stop
mean,
it. If Abu Jinapon can't stop it, and obviously the chiefs can't help, we depend on God.
Yeah, let's depend on God.
Anyway.
Well, yes, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back and then there's more stories that we'll be delving into. Don't go anywhere.
You're welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily. We are still discussing issues on galamsey. Now, there's another report coming in, and we may want to take a look at that as well. Now, government takes on Media General Captain Smart over Akufo-Addo galamsey claims. Now, you can find the story on the citinewsroom.com. Now, let me take snippets of the story. Now, media company Media General and one of its broadcasters, Gosbrain Smart, could face a lawsuit from the government over claims President Akufo-Addo is involved in illegal mining. The government, in a statement, said the claims made by Mr. Smart, popularly known as Captain Smart, in a published video will be referred to the National Media Commission. It is, however, this is quotes, imperative to note that the aforementioned action is without prejudice to government's right to seek legal action against Mr. Smart, Odua TV and Media General, unquote, the statement noted. The government accused Mr. Smart of unethical and irresponsible journalism, adding that the video is intended to court disaffection for government and undermine efforts to fight illegal mining in the country. The government said it was concerned about the spread of disinformation and misinformation clothed under the pretext of journalistic discretion and free expression. It further held that the claims were baseless and impugns the character and integrity of the president and the credibility and commitment of his fight against illegal and irresponsible mining. Though the government has been criticized for paying lip service to the fight against illegal mining, it maintains that its commitment is unwavering. And then you find the statement attached. So you may want to check citinewsroom.com for the statement released by the government through the Ministry of Information. Samens, what do you make of all this?
I haven't heard what he's supposed to have said.
What?
Okay. So, I mean,
I don't think we have that, do we?
No, we don't.
But the long and short of the whole thing is the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, is involved.
Has been alleged to be involved actively
in galamsey.
I don't know what that means. I mean, and again, let me state that I don't know how he put it, but to the extent that it's gotten this kind of response would suggest to me that it was a serious statement that he made. And, you know, I think some of our media people should be a lot more circumspect in dealing with serious national issues. I mean, people just want clicks, you know, so that more eyeballs, and then they think that they derive their triumph from such things. So they say just anything, anywhere. At times, I don't blame them. I actually blame the managers of such organizations, you know, because this person works for a company.
Yeah.
And the company has policies.
Yes.
And the company sits down and watches these things go on. I think that's the unfortunate part. You know, it's not true. And you look at the statement, they talk about something that causes disaffection for the government. Nobody cares about that. I mean, if it causes disaffection, what if it were true? If it's true and it causes disaffection, we really don't care. It is the fact that it is peddling untruth.
Yeah.
This is the problem.
Yeah.
And it's not just the Captain Smart person. A number of people who find themselves on media platforms believe that the more wild allegations you make, the better you become as a media person. It's not true. It's never true.
There seems to be a lot of that around.
That's you need to go out and castigate people, insult people, name calling, and a lot more times when we watch and see these things, we see, if you like, a feature of I'm struggling to choose my words. You know,
You are being circumspect.
you know, we don't need to do that. If you have information, put the information there. But this kind of conjecture and trying to bring attention to yourself. I mean, it is attention seeking, you know.
Yeah.
But if the laws have anything to do with it, I think they should just apply the laws. If you sit down and say the president is involved in galamsey, what exactly do you mean?
Yeah.
If you say that the president's policies have not helped combat galamsey, we all know that is a statement of fact.
Yeah.
Now you go and suggest that the president
Is
does
actively-
galamsey.
yes.
I mean, you can't just go and sleep and have a good sleep when you create this kind of thing. And no wonder they say it's causing disaffection. But I mean, I don't think this one will cause disaffection, because really, who thinks that Anado will go and do galamsey? You know.
Yeah.
But I mean, media people should wake up and deal with issues, the real facts, the real context, proper historical references. But all these aggressive behavior of going after people when you don't have facts, they don't help. They don't make you a better media person. And by extension, it actually devalues the stature of the media house. Because media is built on reputation. Credibility and reputation. So if your credibility is being punched every day with lawsuits here and there, it doesn't make you a champion. We are not in the 70s and 80s anymore, where the more you attack government, you become a champion. It was because there were not many voices. So if you become the lone voice, then everybody looks up to you. Now, in fact, there are too many voices. So if the way to stand out is to peddle untruth about people, including the president, then I don't think it makes you any better.
But you know, in all this, sometimes I ask what exactly the NMC, you know, does.
No,
It
NMC
monitors
cannot
staff.
do anything to anybody.
No, but
Okay.
the,
But
the,
with
the,
stuff like this going on
the
air,
matter to NMC.
exactly,
No,
and
that's
with
why they said without prejudice.
Okay.
So regardless of we going to NMC, we are doing it as a logical step, but we still go to court.
So what I even want to ask is, whose responsibility is it to check what is being put out there? Because sometimes,
Nobody.
okay,
Isn't that problematic?
It is.
because you turn on TV and sometimes certain stations and the kind of things you are saying, it feels like, so don't we have some institution, you know, monitoring
but
and
if
making
they told
sure?
you that NMC is doing anything, it's a lie.
Okay.
But what are
NMC
they supposed to
cannot
be doing anyway?
do- They don't do anything.
Wait.
And
So,
Engui.
no. So I'm curious about something. I remember some years ago. This was the year 2000 in particular.
NMC and your church councillors, they are the same thing. They just
They just
counsel
give
people,
advice.
They just
Like-
give advice.
Kofi Kenyatta said, "Ebusia Mawa ya advice." NMC.
NMC, all they
They
can do
can
is to advise and to caution and to write letter. Have you heard, since you've been in media, that NMC has caused the shutdown of any media house before? Or has even prosecuted somebody that ended up in jail before? No. So that's why I'm saying that NMC, nothing. They can write English, they can do anything. Nothing will happen.
That's the
Hey,
problem.
NMC.
Is it that they are not close with the authority?
Yes. They are not clothed with any authority to prosecute anybody.
Okay.
They will call you, ask you questions. Even the call cry, you can choose to go or not.
You know,
So this NMC thing, if we don't change the makeup of
Yeah,
NMC in terms of the power that they have,
Yeah.
and even the makeup of the body itself,
yeah.
we'll just be going round in these repeated cycles. It's just a joke.
You know, because
no,
we-
it's very disheartening. Number one, and then also quite offensive. When
you know,
look
because
at it another
David,
way, that-
we sat down, we watched certain pastors come on TV, say all kinds of things, you know. We cut these videos, edit them, share them, we laugh over them, you know.
Yeah.
And now it is getting elsewhere. You see, now it's gotten to involving the presidency being attacked, but nobody seems to care. When you turn on your TV, listen to the vulgar stuff
No,
you hear and all these, and it feels like penny be any
that's exactly.
Papa, NMC, nothing. Let's not go far. No, nothing.
No, so we should solve the problem.
We won't solve.
Oh, cement.
So what? Communications ministry, somebody, they are the ones taking the monies and all that. They don't care what is being
They
put
care.
out there.
You see, they care, but we have entangled ourselves with structures that don't work. Okay, I always say we look up to countries like the United Kingdom,
Yes.
US,
Yeah.
for the structure of the media. Now, what you can get away in Ghana on media, try it in the UK and see whether
Won't
you
even
end up
try.
in jail.
Yeah. I was about to make reference
You
to
won't
that because I
try.
was staying there in
You
the year
end up in
2000.
jail.
Yeah, I went.
I mean, the BBC will take you off immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, look, when the Queen passed,
yeah.
this Manchester City player, I forget, he used to be a defender for Manchester City. He went to make a joke on TalkSport. That day was the last day. He made a joke that the Queen should get away with DSC Kana or QMF. They took him off. Quick. No argument. Nobody is coming to say, and democracy. Demo what? No.
Demo who? But you know, sometimes when you have the media house,
Yeah.
you know, backing their people, then it's extremely terrible here,
Yeah.
you know, that and so it kind of
It
gives
only
them the
suggests
backing.
that this
you know,
is the position of the
Of the
media.
media house, yeah.
Of the mother company. Yeah.
You understand?
Absolutely.
So, but this NMC thing, look, the way the NMC is structured today, it will do nothing to help.
Okay.
Because as it's structured today, nothing has changed in the last 30 years about the NMC. And so what we see in the media, people do all sorts of things. I mean, in the UK, even if what the guy did, he tweeted. He didn't even say it on traditional media. He tweeted on his personal handle.
Yeah.
and yet,
The media house just took him off. Okay.
Wow.
So the laws are there, and there are institutions that are mandated to execute the law. The NMC is a good structure, but again, it was set up within a certain media dispensation to deal with the ills of society at the time. The media has grown in leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
The NMC has not grown. It's not resourced. Nothing happens at the NMC except they write letters, caution people, invite people, and then end the case. What we are saying is that for there to be a proper turnaround in what the NMC can do, the NMC's, the article establishing it should be reviewed and be empowered. Because without the power, nothing will change. And as we see, nothing has changed. The only institution within that space that can maybe cause a shutdown is the NCA. Okay?
Yeah.
But the NCA is not mandated to
Regulate content.
to deal with content
Yeah.
necessarily.
Yeah.
So they also will sit and watch.
Yeah.
So this is where we are.
It's a mess.
People take on, I mean, they find a businessman. This man is a thief. This man is a thief. This man. When you are taken to court, you cannot prove.
Yeah.
And yet, media owners and companies watch unconcerned. Watch media personalities destroy Ghanaians, destroy businesses, and get away with it because we have media platforms. And we wake up one day, we are surprised that every businessman wants to have their own media.
exactly.
Because they don't see it as a tool of information dissemination. They see it as a
to
weapon
defend.
to protect
Exactly.
themselves and also speak out on their own behalf.
Yeah.
Well, I think that, you know,
Speaking about the NMC.
exactly, and whether they are in the position, you know, to discharge their duties, we may want to take a look at the
Another
almighty
story,
Nana
right?
Agradaa, you know, so Agradaa to remain in police custody despite bail. Now, the story you can once again find it on the citynewsroom.com. Self-styled evangelist Patricia Siedu, alias Nana Agradaa, will remain in custody despite being granted 50,000 cedi with race surety earlier today. So this was a story done yesterday. This is because she's facing charges at a different circuit court on 1 count of charlatanic advertisement and 5 counts of defrauding by false pretense. The traditional priestess turned evangelist was arrested last Sunday for allegedly swindling members of her Heaven Way Church at Waja. In the first case, the police arraigned Nana Agradaa before the court on 10th October 2022 after her arrest. The court remanded her into police custody to reappear on the 13th of October The police on the said date brought the accused before the court, where she was remanded again to reappear on 17th October 2022. And that was her birthday, right? In the second case, the accused was again arraigned before the court on Friday, 14th October 2022, and has been remanded into police custody to reappear on 24th October 2022. So, just